how could he go under you, or how could he look up to you when you sitting there ducking and dodging? I mean, how can he respect you for that? You know what I mean? You can't respect no joker like that, man.
Do you think Jaron Ennis and Earl Spence would have gotten flack if they chose David Avanesyan as an opponent?
Yeah, hell yeah. You know what I mean? If Earl Spence would have fought that ball, they would have dropped him, they would have talked crazy about him, they would have went off on him. You know what I mean? They would have went off on it. You know what I mean? And it don't make no sense. You know what I mean? This bull done been in a car accident, he done did all this shit, he come right back, he fought Danny. You know what I mean? He coming right back after this motherfucker still ain't been in nothing, and still ain't fighting nobody. He fighting a fucking what's the joker name? Porter. You know what I mean? He ain't no fucking. You know what I mean? He ain't no fucking. He a dog, but he right in front of you. You know, and then that shit was a fake fight anyway. That shit, they ain't supposed to stop that shit. I'm telling you, man, that shit bullshit. All that shit he doing, you know what I mean, is made up. You know what I mean? All that shit is made up. I told people, I never liked Terrence Crawford. I never liked him as a fighter. You know what I mean? You know, and I mean, I wanted him to fight my man Ray Robinson over here with me. You know what I mean? Ray was the last one beat him in the amateurs.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I mean? Ray beat him in the amateurs. You know what I mean? Was the last person I beat him. You know what I mean? Ray called him out. He kept talking all that shit. Then they turned around and put Mean Machine in front of Ray when Terrence Crawford was supposed to fight him. Ray whooped his ass because they thought Ray wasn't gonna beat him. You know what I mean? Ray ended up whooping his ass. You know what I mean? They called it a draw, which is bullshit. And Mean Machine ain't supposed to got that fight with Terrence Crawford, but then he ended up still getting the fight with Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, that was because WBO final eliminator, right?
And Terrence Crawford still wouldn't fight Ray. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I said, everything he doing, man, that's why he holding out. What, he 34 years old now?
35.
Yeah, 35 years old. And, you know what I mean, basically, they got to give him what he can get right now. Basically, he's just cashing in, man. But you cashing in the wrong way, champ. You know what I mean? Because you got these young bulls, like I said, you got these young bulls over there. And you gonna have, I hope you don't get these young bulls to start doing like you, like you, man, to start, you know what I mean, curring like you, man. That's what we call them in Philly. We call them curs. You know what I mean? You a cur, champ. You know what I mean? You sitting there, you folding, man. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes that respect you, you take that respect out of there, man. You can't be pound for pound when you ain't fighting nobody. You know what I mean? How can you go up there with Canelo and all them jokers and you be out there and you ain't fighting nobody? If you look at your resume, you got a bullshit resume. Anybody that like Terrence Crawford and talk that shit, he got a bullshit resume, man. You know what I mean? I think Boop's resume better than his. You know what I mean? He ain't fighting nobody, man.
What's good, Just Do family? It's KB. Back with another one, man. What y'all just heard was Coach L, one of the Philly coaches out there, popular coaches out there in Philly, well known, well respected. And salute to YSM Sports Media for the dope interview. Y'all feel free. Y'all go check him out, man, for the whole interview. But what you just heard was Coach L, give his thoughts on Terrence Crawford and this recent news being announced that he's fighting David Avanesyan on December 10th and no Earl Spence fight. And he went on to say how, Earl Spence and even Boots would get flack if they were fighting a David Avanesyan. And I think he's exactly right. He went on to say, he thinks Crawford's resume is weak. He never liked Crawford as a fighter. Said he's just, he's getting older and basically he's cashing in. And I just wanted to ask a question to the family, man, and to everybody that's listening, that's going to tune into this video. And understand this is no hate towards Terrence Crawford. I support Crawford, both him and Spence. But, it's a real question. Is he cashing in? Did he choose the bag over legacy? Because this, it's being reported that he's getting 8 figures for this fight. So people saying, he's getting upwards of 10 million or more for this fight. December 10th against David Avanesyan on BLK Prime, and they're asking people to spend $40 for it. You know what I'm saying? Which is ridiculous. And of course he's supposed to get flack. We've been led to believe this entire time that he was doing everything in his power to make a Earl Spence fight. And I just find that hard to believe, because as hard as he said it was to make this Spence fight, he sure as hell made a fight with no problem with David Avanesyan just out of left field. And it's a sad day in boxing when we get in 2022, we get into Terrence Bud Crawford against David Avanesyan instead of Earl Spence Jr. versus Terrence Bud Crawford for undisputed. It's a waste of time. It's a complete waste of everybody's time. The only two that benefit from this is Terrence Crawford and David Avanesyan. This does absolutely nothing for Terrence Crawford's career. And at the end of the day, he's going to face a lot of criticism, whether he actually did try to make the Spence fight and did everything he could in his powers. It's just you're gonna have a tough time making people believe that. And, you know, this fight came out of left field, and it's weird because Avanesyan has 2 fights lined up. He has a November 19th fight lined up with an undefeated fighter. I forget his name. And then right after that, you know, he has a December 10th date with Terrence Crawford, which is very odd, very strange to me. And again, man, this is just a black eye on boxing. Boxing failed us as fans as a whole, you know, just by not simply delivering Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford in 2022. Now, it's getting to the point where I just don't think the fight is going to happen anymore. In fact, I just don't even care. But what my question is today is this really a bag move for Terrence Crawford? Because again, they saying he's getting a career high payday, and you know, he's getting 8 figures, and we all know if he's getting 10 million or more for David Avanesyan, listen, I'm not against fighters getting their money. Get your money. You are a prize fighter, but this does nothing for your legacy. And you know, to be honest, they're overpaying you because David Avanesyan is just not that credible of an opponent at this point in his career. You know, he's 34 years old. You're 35. You're still undefeated. He has at least 3 losses and been knocked out, I believe, once by Green Machine, Igis Kavalauskas, who you already knocked out. So it's just a complete waste of time for everybody, man. You know, this does absolutely nothing for your career, for your legacy. And I guess he doesn't care because he feel like he's a Hall of Famer already. And this is the problem. You know, one guy has a fight lined up for December 10th, while the other guy is left to scramble, meaning Errol Spence. Errol Spence doesn't have an opponent lined up. Why? Because he actually was trying to make this fight happen. He actually was trying to choose legacy and allow the legacy fight, you know, that he was trying to have for Undisputed, you know, he was going to allow the legacy fight to make the money for him. It wasn't the other way around where, you know, it seems like Terrence Crawford just wants to be paid, which I'm not against. Like I said, the guy's getting paid, but understand there's going to be some criticism coming with the decision to fight David Avanesyan in 2022. And for the people that's saying tune-up fight and stay busy fight, what is he supposed to do? I get all of that, but if you needed a tune-up, then you should have told everybody that. And at best, people would have been pissed off, but they would have at least respected the fact that you was honest, open and honest with the people, transparent with the people, something that you are never with the boxing fans. You're a very, very difficult guy to read, and according to your ex-promoter Bob Arum, Terrence Crawford, he said you are very hard to work with. Now you fast forward now, and look, we don't have no date for the Spence fight, but you have a date for David Avanesyan December 10th, which is going to be a complete waste of time for everybody in boxing. That's just not a fight that I could support because I don't understand where it came from. I don't understand the thought process and behind making this fighting this guy. Is just so many other credible, notable names you could have fought instead of David Avanesyan. And I think as a result, I think this actually hurts your career more than it does anything else. Although it might help your bank account, but it does nothing for your career. And you're going to be, you know, the criticism is going to pour in because, simply put, and just being completely honest, this fight is unacceptable for boxing fans. Terrence Crawford, you work too hard, and it's not about ducking or not ducking. It's not even about ducking and whose fault. At the end of the day, Terrence Crawford, you worked entirely too hard to even, you know, entertain a fight with a guy that's just not on your level. I know all fights are dangerous. I get it. All it takes is one punch, and you can't play boxing. I get all of that. But at the end of the day, David Avanesyan does not belong in the ring with Terrence Bud Crawford. And this is not a fight that we should be getting in 2022. And it basically seals the deal on any notion that Errol Spence fight will be taking place this year with Terrence Crawford. And now I'm of the belief that it won't even happen next year because you got EJ already said he was trying to get this one more fight, which was Terrence Crawford, become undisputed and move up to 154 pounds. I don't see EJ sticking around. I don't see him holding up his career or changing his plans for you. I don't know if he's going to accept you know, using this guy as a tune-up and wait to see if you really going to actually make a fight with him. I just don't. It's a lot of uncertainties, a lot of unknowns, and it's just unfortunate for the sport of boxing that, you know, in 2022, as I keep stating, that we got to watch a Terrence Bud Crawford versus David Avanesyan. And then what makes it worse, it's on a whole nother network where we're forced to spend additional money to watch this guy. Like, it just gets worse and worse. And the moves that he makes as a businessman leaves people scratching their heads. And It always leaves you with more questions than answers. At the end of the day, this is a black eye on boxing. That boxing has failed us, not delivering us. Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Bud Crawford. It's a damn shame. In 2022, we will not get that fight. And like I said, I'm of the belief now, and I'm of the train of thought that I don't think we ever get this fight, man. And I ain't holding my breath for it. I'm no longer looking forward to it. I don't even care. I made my peace with it. There are more fights to be made. Boxing will continue. Errol Spence, much respect to you. Much respect to Terrence Crawford. Wish both of those guys the best. Hopefully, Errol Spence can move up to 154 pounds and continue to have the stellar career that he's been having and continue to carve out his own legacy despite never having a Terrence Crawford fight. I don't think it'll make or break him. I don't think it'll make or break any of these guys' careers, but at the end of this day, it will always be a discussion as to why this fight didn't happen. And we could go back and forth all day as to whose fault it was, but at the end of the day, boxing failed us, boxing fans as a whole, by not giving us this fight. But that's my thoughts, man. Y'all get in the comment section. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Did y'all feel like Terrence Crawford, he chose the bag over legacy? Because this is clearly a bag move, and it's being reported getting a career high payday at 8 figures, upwards of 10 million or more for this fight, to fight David Avanesyan, which is, in my opinion, just outright ridiculous, and it's taking place on BLK Prime. I will not be tuning in. I will not be calling that fight. No disrespect to Terrence Crawford, but the level of opponent that he's getting in there with is just disrespectful for the sport. And as always, man, y'all let me know if I gave these boys Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, and David Avanesyan at Just Do, because that's what I do over here at Just Do Boxing, man. To the next one, y'all, I'm out. Peace.